All right, so this is our cream soap paste that we made 4 weeks ago. It did get some yellowing on the top of it as it was sitting and rotting. I'm just kind of stirring that around. I don't really think that's a big deal. I don't know what it is. I think it's just kind of dried out on top, honestly, because it seems to be a little bit thicker. Anyways, it's looking good. It is quite soft. I've made various other recipes of cream soap in the past, and they're never this, like, soft without dilution, so that's interesting. But we're going to go ahead and dilute it a little bit and whip it up. Now, I can't give you... First, there are 21 ounces here. It was just over 21 ounces before I weighed it out. There's a little bit more. I made it an even 21, and I took that little tiny, it was like 0.3 extra ounces left, and I wanted to see if this particular recipe would hold salt, and it did. One thing I've noticed, and what led me to want to experiment with non-traditional cream soap recipes, was that I could not mix salt into it with all that stearic acid. It would become like this waxy mess. Like it was like rubbing crayon paste on yourself. It didn't feel soapy anymore when you added a salt. But this takes salt beautifully. It would also take sugar beautifully if you want to make a sugar scrub. Myself personally, I'm not a big sugar scrub fan. I just think there's better exfoliants out there, but a lot of people want to buy a sugar scrub. So if that's what you're going to make for your customers or for yourself, that will work. Anyways, we are going to dilute this, and I cannot say off the bat how much liquid we need to dilute this with, because it all depends on the texture that we want, and that can vary per recipe and everything else. So what we're going to do, I have weighed out 6 ounces of aloe vera juice. You can use water, you can use coconut water, you can use whatever the hell you want, truthfully. I love aloe juice in soap in general. It lowers the pH a itty bitty tiny bit, which makes it milder, and aloe in general is just beautiful. So what I'm going to do is just whip this up and slowly add my aloe in until I get the texture that I want. And because I know that I weighed 6 ounces out here, that's about 175 milliliters, I'm going to know how much I didn't use towards the end of this. I don't think I'm going to need more than 6 ounces of water for 21 ounces of paste here. All right, so now essentially we're just going to get to mixing. Please be kind to my mixer. This thing is older than me. It's an old Sunbeam mixer. She is a senior citizen, but she is not ready to retire. So please don't mind my old hand mixer that I'm using here. Let's get to mixing. All right, after much mixing and a lot of diluting, I finally got this perfect like meringue marshmallow whip texture that I wanted, and I'm so happy with how this is looking now. That it is de-chunked as possible. Now I was mixing for probably, oh man, at least 20 minutes, maybe closer to 30 minutes. And maybe this will go faster if you're not using Abraham's hand mixer. Like if you have a KitchenAid, it might go quicker. It might not. I don't really know because I don't have one. But I was mixing it a long time to get the consistency that I wanted. And I did end up using a solid, what was it? 13 and a half ounces of aloe. So that ended up being 64% of the weight of this. I diluted it with that much aloe. That caught me by surprise. It's been a while since I diluted a cream soap, but trial and error. That's how I do all my recipes. So I just kind of figure it out as I go, and you got to watch me do that. So now what I'm going to be doing is separating this out into two separate batches. One is just going to be a whipped soap, and the other one's going to be a scrub. First, I'm going to do the whipped soap. And I want to really get these kind of cleaned off here. Here, I'll catch up with you when I have that all weighed out. Okay, there we go. So I split my whipped soap into two batches, and then I split 1/2 into two more halves. So this is 1/4 of the whole batch, and the other separate half is over there. That's going to be the scrub. Here, however, this is where I'm going to do up just a whipped soap, and I'm going to do two colors because I want it to be kind of swirled looking. I added to this a little bit of colloidal oats. This batch is going to get rose clay, and it is a fresh cut rose fragrance oil, which is just to die for. If you're into rose scents, it's my favorite one that I've tried. There's no other notes to it. It's just beautiful, long stem red rose type scent. So I love that. Putting that in on that half. Whoop. And then the other half is the same sort of, same fragrance, same oatmeal, but with activated charcoal. So it's going to be like a natural pink and black mixture of a whipped scrub, or whipped soap. There's no scrubbies in this. Okay. Whip this guy up real quick. Well. I filled almost 4 8-ounce jars of whipped soap. Now, these aren't going to weigh 8 ounces because there's so much air in here. Let's see. Bust the scale out real quick. .7 ounces. 4.95 ounces. And that one's 4.8. So you could probably, if you want to get that to the tippy top, fill these up to 5 ounces. That's 5 ounces in an 8-ounce jar. If you are making these to sell, obviously wear gloves. This is just me making these for myself. So I wasn't going to mess with the gloves. It's hot out, it's summertime, and they're just for me. So whatever. If you're making these to sell, definitely wear gloves. But also, be sure you're weighing them. Don't call this an 8-ounce scrub, because that's not how much scrub is in there. Look how fun and fluffy and cute these are. Now after they do set for a while, it's going to be scooping into, it's going to have like a fluffy, airy, like a literal meringue sort of texture. So yeah, there's this little guy too. It didn't quite fill. So there's those. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to incorporate some things into the rest of the soap so we can make a scrub. Now like I had said before, this recipe without the stearic acid is going to be able to take salts. You can mix salts into here as an exfoliant. You can mix sugar if you want. The exfoliators that you can use are essentially limitless. You can use your imagination. I am going to be using some jojoba beads, a variety of colors of jojoba beads, just because I thought that would be fun. And I'm going to be using some ultra-fine pumice. Pumice is like finely ground stone. It's so light, and it makes, honestly, to me, this is my favorite exfoliant, especially for my face. It's gentle, it's round on all the edges, unlike salt or sugar, which is really scratchy, and then it dissolves and it doesn't stay. I love this. If you can put it down the drain and it's fine. So I do need to clean my beaters off, but let's go ahead and get ready to make this scrub here. Yes, I had to clean up a little bit, but we're good to go now. Look at how pretty all those jojoba beads are in there. I used a little bit of everything color-wise. Oh, and the fragrance I'm using for this is Elderflower, Blossom, and Quince, which is a Crafter's Choice fragrance from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I really love this fragrance. There's something so memorable to it for me. It's strong. Every time I smell it, I'm taken back to the very first thing that I ever used it in, and I love it. So I thought that would be great for these rainbow jojoba beads. Let's get mixing. Well, there you have it. Oh my gosh. Beautiful, beautiful whipped scrub. Now, I forgot to mention this after the rose clay and charcoal rose whipped soap, but the scrub too. When you add your additives, it's going to thicken up again, and you might need to dilute a little more to keep the texture that you want. So keep that in mind. I ended up adding 2 more ounces to this, the scrub, and 2 more ounces to the other as well. So that's a lot of liquid. I'm going to have all of the statistics and exact numbers of the dilution rates that I used, fragrance oil rates, everything else, all that formula stuff is going to be in the description. So check that out. Let's see how much these weigh. Obviously, I got more. I got 1 more extra jar than I did with the others because these are denser. We did add over 8 ounces of pumice. So that's gonna give you more weight and thus more volume. All right, so this is 5.5 ounces. 5.5 again. So you're getting about a ½ ounce extra in the container. This one's a little less, 5.35, because I didn't fill it up quite as high. Again, I'm not selling these, so they don't need to all weigh the same. This is 5.4. So I probably wouldn't fill that too much more than that. But you are getting a little bit more weight in a jar with the scrub. And there you have it. 2 beautiful examples of whipped soap from scratch using your own recipe. Well, my own recipe, but you could easily use your own recipe yourself. I really hope you guys like this video. These are so fun. I have soap for a while now, which is exciting. And hopefully you like this video. Please let me know what you thought. And if you're going to try this out, use whatever additives, fragrances, scrubbies that you want to use. That's the joy of this. But this is what I chose to do. The last thing I'm going to do is a really quick lather test because I want to show you just how sumptuous these soaps turn out. So let's get in on the sink here. And I'm going to end this video with a little bit of scrub-a-dub-dub. Again, thank you for watching, guys. Please give me a thumbs up if you like